Hi there, and thank you for joining Cappuccino Conversations. Today I'm really thrilled because we're talking about some of the speakers, or we're talking to speakers who are going to be at the Innovation Summit this year, the 5th Innovation Summit. And I'm particularly thrilled because with me is Vasintha Pather, who is going to be one of those speakers. Welcome.
Thank
you.
And
thanks for joining us. Now, you're going to talk, these days in communication, it looks like sometimes language and the words get in the way. I think there's a song that talks about that. And this is particularly your speciality, isn't it?
It is. Well, one of the things that I call myself is a visual or graphic facilitator.
Okay.
So I think maybe that we'll start there because that's the essence of the conversation for the Innovation Summit.
That's right.
As you say, it's an interesting thing, language, because we have become very used to depending on structured language and linguistics and words in order to communicate to people. And that's only part of how we communicate effectively.
It is, isn't it? Because people there's body language and there's tone and all of those kind of things. That's why SMSs kind of bomb out sometimes.
Exactly.
It's difficult to fire somebody on SMS. It just doesn't work.
Exactly. And look what happens with emoticons.
There
Everybody's using emoticons, isn't it?
Say something mean, put a smiley, and then everything's happy. Tell us about the actual talk. What does it all entail? It sounds incredible.
So visual facilitation or graphic facilitation is essentially about how to use graphics, how to use imagery, and how to use metaphor in communication. So when we're talking about facilitation specifically, we're talking about engaging groups of people. We're talking about strengthening participation in workshops, in training sessions, in meetings, in conversations. Only one side of us is activated effectively when we use words and when we write down in actual structured language. Okay. So if you have a workshop and you're using a flip chart or you're using a board and you're listing words, we engage certain parts of the brain in the conversation and in processing that information. When you use graphics and when you use imagery, you're actually activating other parts of the brain.
It's a different skill set, isn't it?
Right. So what happens by engaging people and using graphics and visuals in conversations and in communication is, one, you're strengthening your own cognition because you're engaging more parts of your brain in the conversation and in the processing of the information, and you're doing exactly the same for the people you're having the conversation with.
Right. This is amazing.
And that's power.
That is powerful. So you're saying really, if somebody sits in the meeting, those people that you sometimes can't engage with because maybe they're stronger on a visual sense or maybe they're more quiet, could really blossom and bring a huge participation in visual. This is fantastic.
Exactly.
Are you going to demo a little bit about this? Now, you've written a book.
I will.
You have a book out. Tell me about that first. I'm always thrilled when I meet people who've written books because I've been trying to write a book for years. Tell me about the book.
So it started as a very, I'll show you a little picture of what it kind of looks like. And it's called The Power of Visual Language.
Okay, it's this one here.
A handbook for the visual facilitator.
Okay.
It actually started as a hobby project, really, in terms of, I generated for myself so much joy out of the process of learning how to draw simple images. Up until 3 years ago, I considered myself to not possess a creative bone in my body. I ran away from
the school system. What does that to us?
Yeah, I think so. I think creativity is, we think to be creative we have to be Picasso.
Yeah.
Otherwise we don't have creativity, which is ridiculous. And we teach our children that.
Yeah.
So up until about 3 years ago, I really didn't think I had a creative bone in my body, even though I started as a visual facilitator about 7 years ago when I started
But you got somebody else to draw the pictures.
I spent lots of time away from the workshop trying to create them. So what I did then was I actually spent a couple of weeks, really, over time, producing lots of different images as ideas for people to begin to generate
to connect
ideas.
to and get their ideas from. That's fantastic.
This is my vocabulary.
Right. Okay.
Your vocabulary is very different, and if you add that to this, we'll create something even greater.
Yeah.
And somebody else brings their vocabulary in, and it creates an even richer language.
Exactly.
And that's the idea around this. The other beauty of visuals is that our left brain communicates in structured language. So when we talk, when we write down in words, we actually engage more of our left brain in the conversation and in the processing of information. And that is connected to the conscious mind.
Right.
Our right brain, which is connected to the unconscious, talks in symbols and in pictures.
Makes sense.
So
Okay.
when we use visuals, we enrich the way in which we engage people at multiple levels. So that talks to theories around accelerated learning, for example. Accelerated learning says that you deepen the learning in yourself and others when you engage all the senses, when you engage all the dimensions of a person.
That's right. Okay.
So using visuals means you engage all the senses.
Fully.
So
That's
you
fascinating.
said demo, so shall we try
I said
something?
demo. Yeah. So while you think of the demo, I mean, my question would have been, if somebody comes to this session, obviously they're going to be enriched on a very huge level. What kind of people should come? Who should come? Is it just management? Is it right down? I mean, you really want to talk to a whole company, don't you?
I want to talk to everybody.
That's right.
Everybody. And I always say that this skill set is for anybody who wishes to enrich their impact.
Okay.
For themselves, in terms of their personal effectiveness, and in terms of their ability to influence other people.
Okay, great.
And engage other people.
Great. So show us. This is exciting.
Okay, well, so I'm going to use, can we have a conversation? I'm going to ask you a couple of questions.
Okay, you get to ask the questions now. All right.
Can I? So I'm going to use a simple thing just for as our example to show how it would work out. So you're a group of people.
Yes.
In a workshop.
Okay.
And if I were to ask you about a vision, let's start there. Okay. So a vision is often as a metaphor. What people really engage with is the idea of a journey, because a journey is what leads you to a vision.
Okay.
And the other beauty about visuals and graphics is that often the pictures are universal.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
we rely on language. English is not necessarily my first language. So, but if I use a picture, chances are more people will understand that.
What the vision is.
Exactly.
There you go. Okay.
So if we were to use a metaphor of a journey, let's have two mountains.
Okay.
All right. And a sun, because that will kind of be
the goal.
where we're actually going to get to.
Okay.
So one vision that you have, or one goal that you would like to get to, what would that be?
A goal for everybody would be to make lots of money.
To make lots of money. So lots of money. That's the end goal, okay? So here's an interesting thing, is what we're doing here is we've already have a visual that people engage with, and we have the language. So they're the words.
That's right. Okay.
So really what we've done is taken left, right, and brought the two together.
Okay.
And now we're going to, because obviously there's a journey to get to where we want to get to.
And that looks like a mighty river we have to cross.
There's a river that we have to cross. You see?
Okay.
So, and that's not
and this is
Picasso,
upside
right?
down, people. You're good. Okay.
So that's a river. We've already established. It could have been a road, but you've decided that's a river. So let's have a little boat. And there's Nico.
Okay.
Okay. And Nico is...
you gave me a hat for sunblock.
We'll make exactly. So we'll give him a nice, interesting hat. Okay. And he's heading in the direction toward the sun. Okay. So one of the things now, you have a boat.
Okay.
So what could the boat be a symbol of, a metaphor for?
Our ability to move.
Ability to move. Superb. So what would you, what would help you move toward your goal?
What would help us to move towards a goal? An engine, definitely.
An engine, and if you were to use that symbolically in your life to make lots of money, what would one of the things be that would help you to move closer to money?
Wind. A sail because it's green and we're kind of a little bit more.
Okay.
Let's be a little bit more environmentally friendly.
Environmentally friendly. Okay. And so if we're talking about the business, what would be the what would a structural thing be in your business that you would need to move? What would be the wind for your business?
Making connections with other people.
Awesome. Okay, so let's put a few other people in the boat because we need to have some connections, all right? And let's call that connections.
And maybe we need a dolphin.
And maybe we need a dolphin, not a shark.
Not a shark, because the shark's going to stop the boat. I've seen that movie.
One of the things then we can talk about along the path is that there's going to be signposts, okay? There's going to be things along the way that need to be achieved. So let's start with a very simple version. Now remember that if we're talking to a group of people, this is happening on a wall-sized chart, right? So people are working with the image as you're
That's
drawing
right, as it develops.
So again, the beauty of this process is what's happening is you're honing in on the detail. So now we're talking about what would a step be?
One of the steps would really be a step to market.
Marketing, great. And maybe we'll have Nico's. Somebody standing nearby you know, just holding up the sign
That says marketing.
that says marketing, or maybe that's our marketing person. Who would, if we were to talk about resources, because a person would often reflect resources, right? So what resources would you require for marketing?
For marketing, well, we definitely need to be digitally connected as we are right here.
Okay, so our resources would be digital connection as an example. Okay.
And probably a camera.
And a camera. Okay, that's good. That would be great. Let's put a little camera up there, shall we?
I'm really hoping we can get a really nice big close-up of this picture because it's beginning to really happen.
So there's a
Okay.
market. Okay. And that's one of the signposts that we actually, or steps along the way. And then we could have another. So what would be a second step along the way?
A second step would have to be to identify the clients properly.
Who are my clients? Great. Okay. And let's, for the purpose of our
I'm so nervous
example,
because at Business 101 I really suck. So okay.
the third one. What else?
I'm running out of things now.
One last thing.
One
Make
last thing.
lots of money.
We're really stretching my brain here. Okay, we need to develop the product more.
Right.
Product.
Awesome. Okay. So, oops, I crossed the D's.
I've never been on the spot this much.
So we have market,
Okay.
we've got clients, and we've got product.
Great.
Okay. And we have connections, because the connection is interesting, because that's what enables the movement according to this journey. So what's happened, if I could make the suggestion
Yeah.
to you,
Please do.
is
It
that
needs help.
we built it along the way. Did at any stage, did you feel like you weren't engaged in the process?
No, it was fantastic. It was terrifying at times, but it's definitely engaging. And you're absolutely right. If you make a visual out of it, it's part of the journey. You see the journey. That's fantastic.
And you focus on the detail, but still, what happens is the group keeps the picture of the big picture. That's the realm of the right brain.
Yeah.
So when we talk purely language and when we write down on a board and we list things, etc., we're very much in the analytical, detailed, methodical, structured aspect of who we are, which we absolutely require, which is fundamental.
Yeah.
But then we need to say, what's the big picture? What are the relationships? Because this is now going to say, if you have a group of people, well, how do my connections link to my clients, link to my market, link to my product?
Exactly, to open up that conversation with a group to get the dynamic going.
And people see it.
That's fantastic. Thank you. I love that. I love that. Thank you very, very much. Good luck with the talk. We're all looking forward to seeing it and to listening to your advice. And if you are watching right now, then if you look at the link online, then you'll be able to go through to the Summit's website and check out when Vasintha will be speaking and get some more detail there. Thank you very much for joining us. Until another time, thank you and goodbye.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.